This is Reuters Today. Coming up, Toyota back on track, but can it stay there? And an Olympic view from Britain's largest piece of public art. We start though with Royal Bank of Scotland. Profit at the part nationalised bank falling in the first half. RBS says it has sacked staff for misconduct as a result of its investigations into the Libor scandal. CEO Stephen Hester confirming it is being investigated by a number of regulators. Well, I'm joined now by Louise Cooper, market analyst at BGC Partners. Louise, RBS results out, they're making comments on the Libor scandal. Does all of this make full nationalisation more or less likely, do you think?
Well, Stephen Hester said very clearly that he doesn't see that full nationalisation would help lending to UK businesses in any way, shape or form. He said that in today's statement. And yesterday, this all comes after this FT piece that RBS was going to be fully nationalised. Yesterday, a government spokesman said no, it was not on the cards either. So I think for the time being, RBS will remain partially floated, although of course the government will retain its stake because it's still losing an awful lot of money on where it originally purchased the shares of RBS.
And a quick reaction to the results?
Yes, the numbers are in line in terms of operating underlying profit. The company has taken massive one-off provisioning, though, for bad debts. Also, it's almost a litany of the problems they've had. They've taken a provision for mis-selling interest rate swaps to businesses. They've increased their provision for mis-selling payment protection insurance. They've also said the Libor scandal, it's too early to cost that out. And they've then taken a one-off provision again for the computer glitches they had. So it just shows how accident-prone the banking system is at the moment.
Moving on to the big data event today, US non-farm payrolls, more subpar jobs growth and stubbornly high unemployment.
Absolutely, about 100,000 jobs are expected to be created. I think last month it was something like 80,000. Frankly, the US economy has to create at least 200,000 jobs a month just to stand still. So it really indicates that the pressure Obama is under because of the weak economy. Trading here in Europe is quite quiet ahead of those non-farm payrolls. Also, everyone's digesting Draghi's comments yesterday. The bad news is that Spanish and Italian bond yields continue to creep ever higher this morning, with Spanish 10-year borrowing costs getting up to 7.3% and Italian 10-year borrowing costs getting up to 6.4%. That is an increase even further from yesterday. However, equities look to be opening slightly higher. But the number to watch out for, non-farm payrolls at lunchtime.
Indeed, Louise. Thank you very much. Well, a rebound in production and sales signalling a full recovery from last year's natural disasters for Toyota. Here's Reuters' John Gordon in Hong Kong. John, Toyota back on track?
Yeah, you're right. It is so back after a couple of rough years there with those recalls and then the disasters of Japan and Thailand. In the U.S., they've regained all the market share they've lost, and they've done it, Jamie, faster than anyone expected would be possible. Now, here's the numbers here. July up 28% year on year in terms of sales in the U.S. I think we've got a chart here. It looks at how that compares to GM and Ford, for example. You can see they've just really clawed back market share there. Biggest quarterly operating profit in 4 years. There are risks ahead, though, here. It's not a full home run, I would say. Honda, Nissan build about 25% of their cars in Japan. Toyota, for its part, builds 40%. That's about 3 million cars a year as their target coming up. So the yen is a major drag, especially for Toyota, not just in dollar markets, but also in European markets. And on Europe, while we're chatting about it, Toyota's particularly the market there for them will shrink by about 5% this year. So with these expectations that have built up, this fast sales pace growth, the question is, can they maintain that going forward?
Also in Japan, John, Japan Airlines, JAL, announcing plans to raise $8.5 billion.
Yeah, just a massive IPO. They're planning to relist on the TSX after a bit of some time off there. Of course, the airline went bankrupt in 2010. It was propped up by a state-backed fund called the Enterprise Turnaround Initiative Corp, ETIC. Now, that fund plans to fully divest from this. If successful, it'll get back double its initial investment, so really quite a turnaround story. In fact, the fastest turnaround story that I can think of in Japan in recent memory. Final price to be decided on September 10th, for this deal. It'll depend on investor demand as they build the book, and it's shaping up to be the second biggest IPO this year after Facebook. Hopefully it flies a bit higher than Facebook did.
Indeed. John, have a great weekend. Thank you very much. The top world news story on Reuters this morning. Kofi Annan quits as Syria peace envoy, blaming finger-pointing and name-calling at the UN Security Council. In an FT editorial this morning, Anand says Russia, China and Iran must help to bring about regime change in Syria. Day 7 of the Olympics today. In rowing, Catherine Granger hopes to finally win a gold after taking silver at the past 3 games. Team GB will battle it out with Australia at the Velodrome in the women's Keirin and the men's team pursuit. Michael Phelps could win yet another medal in the 100 butterfly, and Britain's Rebecca Adlington hopes to repeat her Beijing gold in the 800 metres freestyle. And the athletics gets underway. Kenya expected to sweep the board in the women's 10,000 metres. Finally, spiralling 115 metres in the air, London's Orbit Tower is fast becoming an Olympic icon. Created by sculptor Anish Kapoor, the roller coaster-like structure is a regular feature in television coverage at the Olympic Park. Britain's largest piece of public art initially received mixed reviews, but has become a huge hit with visitors for its bird's-eye view of the Games. Well, that's it for now. I'll leave you with our pick of the day. Today, a bunch of fascinating photos from Reuters photographers capturing athletes in slow motion. The pictures of gymnasts, fencers, tennis and table tennis players are taken with multiple exposures. I'm Jamie McGeever. This is Reuters.